You prepare a lesson carefully. You explain the material with total clarity. But when you look out at the room, you see this: quiet, disconnected faces. They are sitting in the room, but their minds are miles away. That quiet disconnect usually happens for one specific reason. The learning activities are either missing completely or they aren't designed to pull the audience in. We know that listening to a lecture is a passive state. Hearing information spoken aloud does not automatically result in deep comprehension. True learning requires friction. It happens when a student takes new information and actually does something tangible with it. This chart shows the difference. Instead of a straight line of passive watching, an engaging activity acts as a trigger point. You shift the dynamic by requiring specific actions: answering questions, solving problems, or sharing ideas. Introducing even a brief 2-minute pause for active participation shifts the student from a spectator to a participant. Before adding any of these activities, you have to define the intent. The planning phase starts by asking yourself, what should students be able to do after this specific activity? A passive goal looks like asking them to watch a 10-minute video. An active goal requires them to watch that video and identify the 3 core ideas presented in the footage. Reading a chapter is passive. Applying a concept from that chapter to a new scenario is active. When you make the instructional purpose explicit, the task has obvious value. Students engage because it feels necessary to the lesson, rather than like extra work. Zooming into the student's desk, effective tasks do not need to be long or elaborate. The best actions are often microscale. Ask for a single example, solve one short math problem, or challenge them to write a 1-sentence summary of the day's topic. You can present a standard multiple-choice question, but add an analytical layer by requiring the student to verbally defend why they chose their answer. These rapid, low-friction microactions prevent the mind from wandering. They sustain active attention from the start of the lesson to the finish. Moving from the individual desk to the entire room, you can dramatically spike engagement by introducing peer-to-peer sharing. You can prompt a discussion by asking the room to evaluate an example on the board, or to relate a historical event to something in their own lives. Simply asking, "Do you agree or disagree with this statement?" forces a student to synthesize the information and articulate their own stance. Hearing different perspectives and vocalizing their own thoughts directly strengthens their grasp of the material. But to hold long-term interest, you have to expand the scope outside the classroom walls. The activities must feel inherently useful. This map illustrates building these connections. Instead of abstract tasks, project concepts into concrete, real-life scenarios. You create value by introducing decision-making questions, asking students to navigate the exact choices they would face in a workplace, nature, or civic life. Linking classroom theory to external reality provides a concrete reason to engage. When the utility of the lesson is obvious, motivation follows the logic. Implementing this pedagogical shift does not require complicated, high-tech tools or massive curriculum overhauls. The methodology relies entirely on simple, deliberate changes. You are giving students something tangible to do with the information you provide. You ask meaningful questions, and you encourage them to debate and discuss those questions out loud. And you consistently ground the material in real-world situations. By replacing passive observation with active participation, the entire learning experience becomes clearer, more durable, and more effective.